everyone. Welcome to another. Well, just first say here, Happy Halloween. This. Don't worry about it. So, I've decided to put off the Simpsons project for next year. This was sort of like a test run just to see if you guys wanted to see more of this. So instead, what I do for a special Halloween treat is show you all, as you can see behind me, these are all the films and TV shows I own. So what I thought I'd do is show all the films, all the horror films I have currently in my little collection. Now, I don't have much, but I thought this would just be a nice way, and I'd give my thoughts on, just my quick thoughts on these movies. So here we go. The first one is Sweeney Todd, The Demon Barber of Fleet Street. This counts as a horror movie. It's horror adjacent. It's directed by, if you can't tell, it's directed by Tim Burton. It stars Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter, and it's based off the Stephen Sondheimer musical about a Demon Barber of Fleet Street. It's probably one of my favorite musicals of all time. This is probably one of my favorite musical anything. It doesn't even need to be like a musical film. It's probably just one of my favorite musicals ever. Next we have My Bloody Valentine. This is the I think this is the uncut version, because the problem with this film, it was, when it originally came out, it was cut down due to the violence and all the gruesome deaths in it, so it failed pretty hard. It got a remake back in early 2000s, but this is like the original 1980s version. I think it came out in the 80s. Yeah, 81. So this is like the original 81 uncut version. Alright. Then we have so this is actually a 2-in-1 pack I got from a shop. It comes complete with Train to Kill and Lawnmower Man. I have not seen Train to Kill. I probably won't. The reason I got it was because of Lawnmower Man. So Lawnmower Man, it stars Pierce Brosnan, dealing with virtual reality. It was very ahead of its time compared to like the internet and stuff. And I am dying to make a remake of this, because the concepts are good, especially with how virtual reality has like changed over the past couple of years, and we have all the fun technology. I have not seen Train to Kill. If anyone else has seen Train to Kill, please tell me about it. I might watch it. It stars Hugh Grant and Malcolm McDowell. Okay, so I might watch it. But yeah, this was like a 2-in-1 pack I got from a game shop. So. Then we have another Burton classic. We have Sleepy Hollow. Once again, it stars Johnny Depp and Christina Ricci, who you may know as Wednesday from the classic Addams Family films, not from Wednesday from the new show on Netflix that was also directed by Tim Burton. It also stars Christopher Walken as the Headless Horseman. So this is obviously a story based off the story of the legend of Sleepy Hollow. It tells the story. This movie gets a lot of flack, so it's probably one of the more lesser versions, but if you really like this film, then I'm sorry. Alright, now we come to two of the what I like to call the collection portion of my horror films. So here's Saw 1 and 4. The problem is when I collect films like these in big collections, I did not know there was like 10 Saw films. So as you can imagine, if it's in a shop, I'll buy it just because I need it as part of the collection. But currently I only have Saw 1 and Saw 4. I have seen Saw 1, I have not seen Saw 4. And this is the, if you can't tell by the small watermark there, this is the extreme version, so I don't know, maybe when I watch it. So obviously the Saw films center around a man named John Kramer, also known as Jigsaw. He lures people into his sadistic games to teach them life lessons and shit. In the original Saw, I think he traps 2 people in a bathroom, and I'm just noticing now this is also the uncut version of Saw. So this is so much like this extreme version. It's much more like deadly censored. Speaking of collections, we have two that actually go together. We've got Scream 1 and Scream 2. So obviously Scream centers around Ghostface trying to kill. I think there was a new Scream out recently this year. It centers around Ghostface, a mysterious killer who goes around killing people, and it's basically a parody of what horror films are. All the mistakes. But obviously, if you were in a horror film, you would make mistakes like these. So obviously, this is very, very a very unique challenge for horror films. And then you have Saw 2. I'm still stuck on Saw. You have Scream 2. Basically Scream 1, but more intense. There's more of a mystery this time, and it both has the exact same cast, except the sequel, for some reason, has Liv Schreiber in it and Jada Pinkett Smith. All right. Going off the collections for a minute, we have the 2010 Wolfman. This is basically the remake of the Wolfman. I assume we all know about werewolf films, like Look at the Moon, Howl, turn into a werewolf. This remake stars Benicio del Toro and Anthony Hopkins, Emily Blunt, and Hugo Weaving. This is obviously the remake. Obviously you don't know if remakes are better than the originals, but if you've seen the original Universal's werewolf, you know that despite it being CGI, the Wolfman just looks better. Next is 13 Ghosts. Very, very unique. It's a very unique case, 13 Ghosts. This is another one I definitely want to remake. The film can feel very overcrowded. Basically, this old man traps 12 ghosts in his house to complete the Arcanius Infernum, which is Latin for eye to hell. So there's 12 ghosts. Each of them have very different personalities and designs. It's all very. The house is also made of glass. That's very unique. But this is. If you're a fan of psychological and definite thinking horror movies, this is one I highly recommend. Okay, next we have a bit of an odd case. It's technically a film, but it's also a mini-series. We have this Stephen King's mini-series of The Shining. This is different from. This was released a couple of years. I want to say. Okay, it doesn't say, but this was released a few. We'll just say a couple of years after the Stanley Kubrick version of The Shining. This miniseries is obviously, it was written by Stephen King. It's more King-esque, I guess. And much like every other Stephen King miniseries, it's bad shit crazy, so that's why I love it so much. Okay, and speaking of Stephen King, here's It. This is the 2017 incarnation of It, different from, I actually think, so right there, I don't know if you guys can see that, you might have to zoom in, but there is the original Stephen King's It. I forgot to take it out before I started recording this video, but I do have it. It's right there. Actually, so that's the original Stephen King It with Tim Curry as Pennywise the Clown, and this is the 2017 remake, starring Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise, and obviously it stars Finn Wolfhard and a lot of other great child actors. But I definitely do like this. As much as I love Tim Curry, I do prefer this version. I just think it's better made. It's has more of an identity. It's very good. We might as well get the rest of this. I guess we'll just call this the Stephen King portion of the horror collection. Here's Doctor Sleep, from 2019. This is a long-awaited sequel to The Shining. It was directed by Mike Flanagan, who has made one of my favorite Netflix shows, Haunting of Hill House, and he's also made a new one called Midnight Mass. Basically, it's set on an island. It actually stars a few actors from Hill House, and I've also seen the semi-sequel series Bly Manor. It's all very good, but this, I feel that Flanagan was the perfect person to tackle this. So this is obviously a sequel to The Shining. It follows grown-up Danny Torrance, played by Ewan McGregor, aka Obi-Wan Kenobi, or anything you know Ewan McGregor from. It's quite a long film. I think it's about 3 hours. It's 146 minutes. So basically, 2 hours. We'll say 2 hours. It's quite a long film, and by the end, but it's very good. I very much love it. It's very good. It's very nice. Now we have two films that aren't similar films, but did have the same box art when I bought them. So here are the two films. This is Pet Sematary, the original Pet Sematary film. Obviously, if you know Pet Sematary, you bury whatever dead pets and they come back to life. But if you bury a human, it has a more unnatural result. And then we also have The Stand. This is a very long film / miniseries. It runs about 359 minutes, so that's roughly about 6 hours, I think. But it was hard to get through. It's about the apocalypse. It's actually very close to what life was like. Obviously, it deals with a deadly virus breaking out. And people in isolation, and people trying to find God. They go to find this woman. We can all relate for that, for being held in lockdown and being held because of COVID-19. So I felt this was the right film to watch during that time. Just if it was for a laugh, it was an unintentional laugh. So yeah, I'm interested to see what other films have these similar box arts, because then I can just, you can just pair them together because they have a very similar box art. Our final is the only semi-completed collection of films I own. So, and that is the Purge movies. So it's kind of ironic. It's semi-completed from Torn Worlds. So here's the Purge and Purge Anarchy. The timeline for the Purge films, I'm not going to pretend I'm an expert on. The Purge is a bit boring, but I guess that's the point. The Purge 2 is much more chaotic. And then when the Purge 3, aka Election Year, came out, this is probably one of my favorite ones. The character's a lot more. It deals with the idea of shutting down the Purge. I think I just like this more, but I will acknowledge I do like Anarchy. Anarchy has some really good scenes in it, but yeah, if it was a contest, probably Purge. I have seen the ones I'm missing is the first Purge and the Forever Purge, and I'm hoping to get those soon. I can't be sure. Yeah, but that is just a small taster of some of the horror films I have. Obviously, I had to scour through all of these just to find the ones that are horror, or say horror adjacent. I know I might have missed some, like I missed It. I didn't want to throw stuff like monster movies, like Godzilla movies in there, because I feel like that's a different category. But yeah, in terms of how all my horror movies stack up against each other, they stack up like this. But yeah, with all that being said, I guess that's the end of the video. That's all the horror films I have. If anybody else on the Cameron Productions team please comment down below what your favorite horror movie is. If any of my colleagues want to share any horror films they have, please feel free to do, and I will upload it to the channel. This video will be out hopefully by tonight, and I'm really excited. I have no immediate plans for Halloween. We're currently still working on the Infinity Complex film. It'll hopefully be out before the new year. But yeah, all I want to say is happy Halloween, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Now, if you'll excuse me. I'm gonna go finish my lunch.